12 tribe doctrine.
But we don't go according to skin color.
Yeah.
Because Africans.
Well, I only meant that because
you're talking about like nationality.
Nationality, right?
Okay,
because
so
we all know that we're Hebrew Israelites by bloodline and by creed.
So they make it.
Right.
So they can also make it too. All right, so you know they would be Esau. You know that Edomites.
Well,
Well, let me show you this, brother, because like you're gonna show that.
Because Obadiah has.
Obadiah talk about Esau.
Obadiah
right?
does talk about Obadiah.
To the word Esau, brother. Look into the Hebrew. Also, it means Ishashuaf. That's the Paleo Hebrew.
That's true.
And Ishashuaf means to be wasted, right? So now Esau's melanin, it was wasted from it. That's why when Isaac saw Esau, he was like Ishashuaf, because it was like to be wasted. He came out looking different, red. It means his blood showed forth through his skin. That is why these people, they are, look at them like right now, if it's too cold, well, for sure they're gonna
Well, no, see, check this out. My kickback on that is when the children of Israel were going throughout the lands, and matter of fact, when I want to say the book of Jasher.
So who are the Edomites then today?
The Edomites? Oh, they're cut off. They were cut off.
They're gone right now.
Yeah, they're cut off. They weren't called by any. They weren't. Their fame was completely stricken from them.
Are they're eradicated right now? They're not here. They don't.
No, they are definitely the people. The people are here, but the Edomite nation is not. There's no nation on the planet claiming to be Edomite.
So do you know who Babylon the Great is? The daughter of Babylon. Who would the daughter of Babylon be to you, bro?
The daughter of Babylon. Mystery Babylon.
Yeah,
that's coming after. That's coming after what? The Persians, right?
No, like Babylon the Great, like the daughter of Babylon, not ancient Babylon.
Yeah.
Revelations. Who do you think that is? Who do you think the Revelation?
Mystery Babylon is definitely America.
Right. Okay. So now I'm gonna get Psalms 137. Psalms 137, and I want to actually start at 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Right? O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be, and rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So Esau, he's synonymous with the daughter of Babylon. So
no, because Psalms was written by David, right?
Right.
David, by that time, the Babylonians and
this is the prophecy. This is the daughter of Babylon. So this can't possibly be ancient Babylon.
Right.
The daughter is not the same as the actual mother.
That's right.
Right. So this is going to be the daughter, because look at this. Esau, it tells you that he will be ruling the daughter of Babylon.
Right.
We know the daughter of Babylon is America. Now, America is ruled by who today?
The quote-unquote European, the quote-unquote European Gentile.
Exactly. And you know what Babylon means? It means confusion.
Confused.
Right. And America is the biggest confusion on earth.
Right.
Every nation, every tongue,
That's
kindred. Right. That's why this is the daughter of Babylon. It's like a second Babylon.
It's the whore.
Right? It's the great whore. But Edom will be the people ruling in the daughter of Babylon. You see? So this is showing you very clearly, brother, that Esau is synonymous with these ruling people right now. Yeah. Matter of fact, brother, can I get one? Give me Obadiah, right? We're gonna actually go through the book of Obadiah, and I'm gonna show you real quick something. Chapter 1 and start at 1.
This is the vision of Obadiah, said the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a number from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
So this is about Edom. He said, I made Esau the smallest among the nations, right? And they're very greatly despised people, among all people. And like you look at today, man.
Well, that's true.
The so-called white man, we're gonna just look at statistics and things of this sort. They have the lowest birth mortality rate, right? They say if they would not mix with other races, well, their race would end up actually depleting, just because I guess they're just not sufficient enough to work on their own. You see? So they're very small. They call themselves the majority, right? But they are really truly the minority. The majority is really the so-called black, Hispanic, and natives. We're really the Israelites, the majority. But Esau.
Well, see, this is my thing. The Native Americans and the Hispanics, though we share a similar type relationship with the quote-unquote white man, that's 12 tribe. That's 12 tribe doctrine. The Native Americans and the Hispanics are not considered Israelites.
Well, we can get to that too, because we'll deal first and foremost Esau. But we can prove they are our people. But we're gonna keep going to Esau. Keep going.
Verse 3: The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou dwellest in the cliffs and in the rocks.
So it says the pride of thine heart for Esau is to deceive them, because it says they dwell in the cliffs of the rocks. And Esau, we understand as so-called white man, he originates from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia, Mount Seir. That's literally where it's literally, we know they got books and documents, facts that these people were the cavemen. The Dark Ages tells you how they was in the caves for about 1,000 years. Okay, while we was ruling in Europe, because I don't know if you heard of the Dark Ages with how we was ruling in Europe.
I know about the Moors.
Yeah, the Moors. Yeah, exactly. So we were ruling in Europe for about 1,000 years.
Nothing but Israelites.
And we ended up pushing them into the caves. Now let me show you that in Job. Job tells you how that happened.
Well, Job was before Abraham.
Yeah,
so
Job was a prophet though. Job prophesied about the last days.
Anything as far as Job is concerned, that was before Abraham.
Yeah.
My thing.
Can I show you this one real quick, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
Job 30, and I want to get 5. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and in the caves of the earth and in the rocks. So this is talking about the Dark Ages. When we actually got into Europe, Septimius Severus, Licinius Niger, who were 2 so-called Negroes, they ended up conquering, England. That's exactly why. If you read the book of Nature Knows No Color Line, it literally tells you how these 2 men, they actually took the Edomites out, and they actually set up nobles over England. That's hence why you get the word England, man. Because England means angel's land, right? And if you actually go more into it, it's angel's land goes into the Anglo-Saxons.
Right.
Who are the original Anglo-Saxons? Anglo-Saxon means the angelic sons of Isaac. Who are the sons of Isaac? Jacob. But Jacob becomes Israel, So the Israelites would be the angelic sons of Isaac, or the original Anglo-Saxons. But the so-called white man would take that, you're talking about iconoclasm, and he wants to paint himself to be like he's Anglo-Saxon.
Well, of course, because what the Apocrypha talked about how they sought to take their idols and put them in place. So I mean, my thing is all right.
I know. Can I finish this real quick, bro?
Yeah, go ahead. Hit me. I'll hit you.
So we driven them forth from among men.
Bless God.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It says they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. So we drove them into the Caucasus Mountains, and they was there for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Esau, this is talking about Esau. Now let's read that again. Go inside where he was at, bro.
Thy pride, thine heart have deceived thee. Thou dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high. That said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Thou exalt yourself as the eagle, and thou hast set thy nest among the stars.
So these Edomites are known for exalting themselves like an eagle.
Yeah.
Now, who on earth, brother?
America.
Not only America, but you can look into all Europeans. The Greeks, they had an eagle.
They had that's the eagle is basically another deity. It's another type of.
But what did they
type of like Baal? It's like like another type of god, right? They worship, right?
The Romans was that way too,
right?
The Spaniards. These are all Europeans. Why do you think the Lord just said they exalt themselves like the eagle? Who else can fit that? All right, we're gonna keep reading real quick, right? Let's keep reading real quick.
Okay. Hit me.
Verse 4. Thou that exalt yourself. Verse 5. Salaki. If these come into the robberies by night, how art they cut off?
Right.
Would they not have the stolen still? They had enough. If the grapers came to thee, would they not lead some grapes?
So this is talking about how these people, they are known for really stealing a lot, because you know how America was established, right? It was stolen by who? The Native Americans, right? And it was established on rape, rob, and murder. And even to this day, we understand that America, this nation oppresses all other nations by going into their lands, taking their gold, their oil, their resources for no reason.
Yeah.
And they don't want it. They're very, very greedy. That's why the Lord's saying, if these came to thee by night, how art thou cut off? They would not even leave grapes, meaning they don't leave a damn thing for these nations.
But I'll tell you this on that.
But you see how this is going though, brother, right?
I do.
Put it together. They're small. They dwell in the cliffs of the rocks. They exalt themselves like an eagle. And then we can even go to different scriptures how we fled them and stuff.
I agree to the extent of the symbolism. The symbolism in the way that you're lining up the precepts, yes, that would equal, you know what I'm saying? That would equal the understanding. But the only thing is let's just go back to the curses. Let's just go back to Deuteronomy 28. If the quote unquote if we're talking about Esau, we have to be fair. The only Esau that is talked about in that book is the direct brother in the direct bloodline of the great patriarchs. So if we just go strictly from Deuteronomy 28, it said that we will be took into a nation whose language we did not understand. If the quote-unquote Edomite is the ruler or just the set alone standard of America, that would null and void the curses, which we know the curses are not null and void.
I brought out Psalms 137 that says Edom is synonymous with the daughter of Edom, with the daughter of Babylon.
This is true.
So we understand.
But that would mean that you would have to take. That would mean that there would be a chunk of percentage of their influence brought in.
No, they ended up coming into America and they colonized it.
Yeah.
And they pretty much took it over. So Esau never just only stayed over there. No one does that. Like Israel never just stayed in Israel.
That's right.
We all went across the world.
That's right.
So
that's what I want you to say. That's what I'm trying to pull out.
That would be kind of a small understanding to just try to think that they're going to stay there. No one's going to stay where they are.
This is true.
They spread abroad.
Conquer.
Esau is known for spreading abroad and conquering, right? So he obviously came to America and conquered. So yes, the people who sold us in slavery, they was the so-called white man, right? And that scripture tells us exactly what that says.
Ishmael too.
Ishmael's the Arabs.
Yeah, Ishmael too.
I believe this is one book. It says the Roman Empire, and it shows you that they tell you that they know that they were the Edomites. There's a lot of documents that show you that Romans knew that they were Esau. You see, now I'm gonna show you that when they took on those names, Japheth, like Gog and Magog. Who else was Tubal and Meshach? Those are not their true, real nationality. They overtook the true people of Japheth, and then they claimed their nationality, right? That's why Esau, he's known for a man who steals even heritages. Can I get Micah 2 and 2 real quick? I want to show you this, because this is going to talk about Babylon. And this is twofold, because Babylon the Great is synonymous with Esau, right? So we're going to figure out these people of Babylon and how they work. These Edomites, it's going to tell you how they really work. This is going to be the book of Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, and wine in the scriptures, I don't know if you realize, that's talking about their philosophies, their doctrines, their ideologies. So he sins by his philosophies and his ideologies. He is a proud man, talking about Esau. And we know Obadiah says he exhausts himself like the eagle. Neither keepeth at home. So these Edomites, it says that these Babylonians, brother.
She ain't that fine, man.
Yeah, so it says that these people, they cannot keep themselves at home. And who's that sound like? They can't keep themselves at home. The so-called Americans, they're always going to go into other nations and oppress people, and they just cannot keep themselves to themselves. They're always going to make bases in other people's nations.
That's right.
This is about the so-called white man.
But that's also a prophecy talking about how she was going to spread her cup of horn.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And we know who that's talking about. We're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Babylon, right? He wants to get all people in one nation and just be one people, have one law, be just like I said.
But that was Nimrod. That's what Nimrod did.
Yeah, he did that too.
That's what
but
Nimrod
also,
did.
You believe in the book of Maccabees?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so you know how the Greeks, Antiochus Epiphanes, he actually had that same mentality. He wanted all people to come to be one people,
right?
One nation. So we understand that.
So that's what Christmas and all that.
Right.
Star on the tree.
Be one people, be one tongue.
Yeah.
Who else has that same traits about them? So-called white man always likes to do that.
That's true.
Right? Verses are going to get 6. Shall not these all take up a parable against him, and taunting proverb against him, saying, woe to him that increaseth in that which is not his. How long? And to the how long? And to him laden himself with thick clay. So this man, he's really known for increasing in that which does not belong to him. Meaning he takes things that doesn't belong to him, and then he actually acts like it's his. So the Japhetic people, what happened was Alexander. You know about Alexander?
Yes.
The so-called Greek.
Alexander the Great.
Then what they do?
He's talked about in Daniel too.
Yeah, he talked. Yeah. And what happened with him? He conquered the whole known world, right? And once he conquered the whole known world, even Europe, what happened was they got the real Europeans up out there, who were the specific islanders, and then they claimed to be the Europeans. They took the names and everything like that. Who does that today? Esau. He took our nationality. He went up in there and claimed himself to be the Jew when we know he is not. This is what Esau is known for. Matter of fact, can I get this real quick?
This is
talking about Babylon 2. Read on.
This is Nahum 3 verse 3. Woe, oh, it's like Nahum chapter 3 verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery.
So this is talking about Babylon, but we know on a double-fold level, it's talking about Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. It says this is the bloody city, all full of lies and robbery. Who is the bloody city, man? Who's known as the bloody city? America, because this place was founded upon rape, rob, and murder, right? Extortion, thievery, lies, because this place has built upon Christianity, which is a big lie. Jesus is white. You know, God loves everybody. The whole Bible was twisted to a way we don't understand no more. Right, so this is the bloody city. Yeah. This is talking about Babylon. We know who attributes that fits Esau. Matter of fact, can I get 2nd Esdras 6 and 9 real quick? Did you have it? I can probably bring it up. You believe in the Apocrypha?
Oh yes, yes. The Maccabees are in the Apocrypha.
Exactly, bro. So actually, I'll go to get it.
The what is that? The rest of Solomon's writings.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah.
This is good right here. This is Wisdom of Solomon's. 2nd Esdras 6, and I want to start at 7. Then I answered and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? So Esdras is asking the angel, well, let me know when we're going to have a transitional period between this wicked world
and the kingdom that's coming.
Right. Then he's going to go on to say,
that's right.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of Jacob how first the hill of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau, the prophecies that Esau would be in the end of the world, they would be in rulership. They would be the top people on earth.
I'll say this. I'll kick back just on this. End and end, because you have end, and then you have END, end.
This is END. Okay.
I believe what's supposed to be there is EN, not END.
Why do you think that?
Because
that's almost like taking away from this.
Well, it's not. Only
I'm
simply.
Not trying to say anything, but like
no. I agree. I'm just saying, only because.
But that wouldn't make sense though. For Esau is the end of the world.
Yes. Within what context, end of the world? Are we talking?
We're talking about the end of a rulership. Because we all realize that it's not going to be the end of the world.
Because EN doesn't mean EN. I want to say, I'm here paraphrasing, man, and that's so uncouth.
So really, brother.
Yeah.
You know the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth.
Say that again?
The kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth.
Correct.
Right. So
that's Revelation.
When it says the kingdom, the end of the world, meaning the end of another rulership. So the end of Esau's rulership, he's going to be ruling at the end of the world. The end of his rulership.
That is the end.
And Jacob will be the beginning of it that follows. So the next rulership, the kingdom of heaven, it's going to begin with Israel. You see, but Esau is going to be his prophecies say that he's going to be the one ruling at the end, which obviously context clues. We put everything together, bro. Who's ruling at the end of the world? Look at the book of Obadiah. It talks about him, how he exalts an eagle, how they was the clefts of the rocks, how we drove them as the clefts of the rocks. Esau was red. That means Joshua to be wasted, right? So, all these things coming together. And the book talks about Esau a lot. And Psalms 137, brother, says, O Edom, right? And then it's synonymous with the daughter of Babylon, right? So the people of Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, we know the daughter of Babylon is America. Who's ruling America? The so-called white man.
Let me ask you this, brother. All right, so let's go to the story of Messiah. All right, so you said that the Romans claimed that they were the Edomites, right?
Yeah, there's a book about that. There's actually there's a lot of books about that too.
So let me ask you this: if King Herod was the Edomite, how was and this ties into me being this may be unfair. But I just want to speak logically. If King Herod was a Edomite, the Messiah would have not been able to hide from him in those days.
Well, what do you mean by that?
The Messiah was because Because all right, so we know that the Messiah was quote unquote black.
Right.
He another Israelite. You know what I'm saying?
Israel.
King Herod. Black. King Herod was a Edomite king. Right?
Yeah.
He was an Edomite king.
Yeah.
So the Edomites were quote unquote white, and the Messiah was black. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know what I'm saying? There would have been no way. There would have been no way that King Herod could not have found. You know what I'm saying?
That's almost like you're saying that you're thinking the Israelites were supposed to be light skinned.
No.
So obviously he would have been able to hide because he was amongst his own people. But Herod, you know why he was in the kingdom?
Because he also combed Egypt too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know why Herod was ruling over Israel?
Why?
Because Israel at the point was being oppressed by who?
The Romans.
The Romans. Who set Herod up? The Romans set Herod up. They set one of their own people up to be over Israel.
Right.
So Herod wasn't Edomite, but the Romans also set him up. His own people set him up, you know? That's why he wanted to kill the Messiah, because these people, it tells you in Ezekiel 35 that they have a perpetual hatred for the Israelites.
This is true. But what I'm saying is
that's what you're saying, like,
yeah.
I mean, Herod being white, I mean, being Esau,
yeah,
it really wouldn't.
Because there's a relationship, there's a cult. What I'm trying to say is, the doctrines try to split Esau away from Israel's special relationship that it had to Israel. My thing is let's consider the relationship. Let's consider in full their relationship. Let's not. Yeah, we know the scriptures. Like I said, all the scriptures that you point out points to the ideology.
So what is our relationship though between Esau and Jacob? What's the relationship?
That we're family.
Give me Ezekiel 35, right? So I'm gonna show you, brother, that's really not how it goes, bro. Because what did Esau did say? What? When my father Isaac dies, he said, then I will slay my brother Esau, right? Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Let me show you this. Ezekiel 35:1.
This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
For an hour.
Against it.
Gotta go.
So it says, set thy face against Mount Seir, man. Mount Seir is who? Edom. So he said, prostrate against it. Read them.
And said unto it, thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will Mount Seir against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
So but you know he did that. But that's where.
Going, bro. Get 5, right?
Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the face of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end.
So the thing is, it says that the Edomites, they've had a perpetual hatred, meaning a continual hatred from Jacob and Esau all the way till now. They shed the blood of the children of Israel, and they're known for doing so.
This is true.
This is going to be, and Esau, you can realize.
Because you know who have you ever heard of the term the Sephardim Jew? The Sephardim Jew?
I've heard of it.
The quote-unquote Sephardim Jew, you can Google it. When you go to the Sephardim Jew, it'll show the quote-unquote, it'll show the likeness as close as what the internet has to who the Edomites are of today. And when you look at that, it's damn near like Common, like the brother Common, and who else? And Terrence Howard, like that skin complexion. You know what I'm saying? So,
but the Edomites, we know the Edomites today. People that you for sure would know is the Amalek. Esau's in Israel right now. He's actually ruling Israel right now, right? And his people, what is his complexion? What is the so-called Jewish man's complexion today, Drew? Pale. So he is the Edomite. So the Edomites today would be pale. He's one of the Edomites, because Edomites are just like the Caucasian race. You have different type of sex, but it's like the Caucasian race. That's why you read Revelation 2:9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, for the synagogue of Satan. So these people are known as the synagogue of Satan as well. What does Satan mean? Satan literally goes back to the word
enemy, shaitan,
to deceive, the deceiver. So Satan, bro, it means a deceiver,
the enemy.
So who else is a deceiver on earth? Esau, the so-called white man, because he obviously pushes a lot of lies on earth. That just means to deceive. Like I said, Christianity, who we were, who we are, lies about every little thing you can think about.
That's true.
They are really the devils of the earth, right? And you think about devil, you think about a red man with horns. Well, he tricked you on that too.
That's because that was Nimrod.
Right, he got you a twofold.
Nimrod did.
He got you a twofold deception. Because Esau is the devil. Devil only means deceiver, right? That's it. These are the synagogue of Satan. You know, so really, brother, I mean, putting it all together, Esau, it comes down to it, man. He is the so-called Caucasian. Who else would he be today? Who else fits all these Who else fits all these descriptions of Edom? If you can think about it, bro, who else can?
I can't disagree with you. I just bring it
back. They're not
back.
the sons of Japheth, bro. Because why? They went and stole that nationality. I just told you how they work. They go and they increase in the things that don't belong to them. That's right. They oppress a man and his heritage.
But that's war. Every great nation or every great ancient society that won the war.
That's right.
Change the narrative. You know what I'm saying? But we still, like I said, like this is why I say, and this, like I said, this is why I say the Esau debate is a great stumbling block for a lot of Israelites. Not for the sanctity of being correct, but if we take "thou shalt not steal," right? That's period, point blank. There's no line upon line, precept on precept for "thou shalt not steal." So if we take that understanding and we apply it to the basic principle of Genesis and the story of Esau and Jacob, we understand that there is no way that, you know what I'm saying, I'm saying this, brother, according to the story, there's no way that Esau could be our oppressors, because in Deuteronomy 28, it talked about how we would be enslaved to a nation in a tongue who we did not know.
Who that happened with, bro?
Huh?
Who that happened with, bro?
With us.
Who did it? Who did it to us, though?
The quote-unquote European.
Exactly.
But now, hold on, wait. This is my key back. If the European was the Edomites, then that would null and void the curses. Because the curses say that we will be took to a nation whose tongue we do not understand. Hold on, wait.
Esau only stayed in that region and he only spoke Hebrew.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is if that influence, if their culture, if they sought to teach their culture, you don't think they would have kept that culture? You think they would have adopted their original culture?
I don't think they wanted to keep it, bro. Because why?
We can't say that.
But Esau, it shows you Esau's a hated people.
Yeah.
Who the hell would want to keep that nationality, bro? You see? So they want to claim. You know what they did? They kind of got rid of that and they called themselves white. They called themselves Caucasian. You ever heard of German in the scriptures, bro? Have you ever read about a Spaniard in the scriptures? No. So they made these terms up. You don't find that. They made them up.
But so then that cancels both of us out. Then that cancels the whole argument. Then.
No, but they made that up so that they can negate the fact that they're the Edomites. They don't want anybody realizing that they're the true Esau, man. You see, just like us today, we don't even know that we think we're Americans and black,
African Americans,
because they want our name to be diminished also, because they don't want us knowing we Israel, and they don't want them knowing that they're Edomites. You see, but the thing is, brother, that today, that's kind of a bad thing to try to say. They just stayed in Israel and kept only Hebrew. No, they actually.
And I'll just say this: I'm just talking about just this book. Now other translations, other books that people read, we can. That's a whole different argument. But I'm talking solely about what's in this book. If we just keep it basically within the story of Genesis, there's no way the Edomites.
So did we only stay in Israel then, bro? No, we're in slavery. No. So obviously there's a lot of different things that we have to consider.
But culture never changed.
Yeah, culture does change, brother.
The oppressor changed, but the oppressor's culture never changed.
No, the oppressor can't change his culture. Just like he changed our culture. Everything can change easy, bro. He stole his culture. It's not even his culture. Esau, look, the so-called white man today, nothing he does is really his.
Then that means Babylon isn't Babylon then.
No, Babylon is Babylon, because Babylon means city of confusion. So what they did was they took everybody's culture and assimilated it to be like one big melting pot. Yeah. But Esau himself, he doesn't really have a true culture. Why do you think he needs everybody to come here so that he can kind of have them what's a good thing? Cover up for his blandness. Because Esau's nothing without us. Imagine, look at Russia. Okay, nobody wants to go to Russia, man, because that place is boring as I don't know what. You might want to go see the damn.
I want to go to Russia now.
It's cool because you might want to see the temples.
I'll go to Russia now.
What are those things? Moscow. They got that big building.
Yeah.
Guess who built that? That was us.
True.
So that's not even theirs, first and foremost. But without, okay, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans assimilating themselves here in America, America would have been nothing, man.
Because they don't, and this is my kickback on the Hispanics and Native Americans, man. They don't even consider none of the prophecies. Are you familiar with damn, what was that movie, man? It was a slavery movie, man. It was Kunta Kinte, I forgot what it was. Yeah, Roots. Yeah, in Roots, there was a specific episode. There was a specific part where homeboy saw the slaves being brought in, and every nation involved in the slave trade was there. And literally, you saw the Cherokee Indians, you saw the quote unquote Aztec Mexicans. You saw that. So if they had a hand, which historically, we know that the Native Americans and the Hispanics had slaves.
Oh no.
That would null and void. Hold on, wait. So, that would null and void. Now the Mexicans also were in slavery too.
No,
they were enslaved too.
Enslaved. They didn't enslave us. Right. They got enslaved, bro. The Native Americans didn't have slaves. They were peaceful people. This is actually proven, bro. When they were here, they didn't have no Negro slaves. I mean, even the Aztecs themselves. I mean, you could say they oppressed each other. Which you could say that.
The Cherokee Indians did have slaves, bro.
They slaved. They kind of almost oppressed each other.
The Cherokee did have slaves. It is documented evidence.
I mean, they might have had like maybe. I mean,
historically, they
like
did have slaves, bro.
They didn't have the whole nation to like be like building up their whole nation.
Correct. That is correct.
That's the difference between something like a servitude, and having a whole group of slaves.
But my point, hold on, I didn't even explain my point. My point is in the curses, it didn't talk about the tribes owning other tribes and enslaving other tribes.
But they didn't do it like that.
Because what the 12 tribe doctrines say that what the Haitians are the tribe of Levi, we are the tribe of Judah, somebody Simeon, and you know what I'm saying. If this was if the Native
10 tribes in today, who are the 10 tribes today? Then?
Today, I would have no idea.
So you know,
I wouldn't know.
So you know what happened to them? Like they got taken into slavery 722 BC to the Assyrians.
Yep.
And from there on.
Yes, I know exactly where you're going now, because they were split up in First Kings or Second Kings or something like that.
Right. So as a matter of fact, bro, I'm gonna show you a prophecy in the book of Second Esdras about the 10 tribes. Like what happened to them, right? This is the book of Second Esdras 13.
But then that cancels that out, because when the Almighty woke up the Syrian king and told them to bring them back into the land and restore, and he restored them. They knew their tribe. They knew who they were. Individually, they knew who they were.
Well, after the point,
because that's the only way you can do the feast days. You can't.
They never came back to Israel. Why do you think? Remember the time of Jesus when he was on earth? Remember when Jesus was on earth, bro? Who was in Israel at the time when Jesus was on earth? Because
you can't keep the feast days without knowing who the high priests are.
Who was in Israel when Jesus was on earth? Yahushua. Who did he preach to? Which tribes were there?
All 12.
No. Only 3. Because you only had Judah. That's in the Bible, bro. As a matter of fact, give me Matthew 5.
Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. But
yeah. Why do you think? What does Jew mean? Jew.
Jew is that's a corrupting nickname. That's not.
It means to be from the tribe of Judah.
To be from Judah, right?
And who is the tribe?
Or Yehuda.
Right. And the tribe of Judah, they were actually known as the Southern Kingdom.
Yeah.
So you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
That's correct.
Only the Jews were in Israel. That's why you hear about the Jews a lot in the New Testament. But the 10 tribes, they were not in Israel because they were considered Gentiles, right?
This is not true, because the feast days, but you're forgetting the feast days, brother. You're forgetting Passover, the Day of Atonement. You're forgetting.
They didn't keep that.
Yes, they did. That was a part of Torah. That's old.
But they got cast away in the book of Hosea, bro.
That is true. But that cast away doesn't mean that they forgot culture. It doesn't mean that they lost their culture. That they lost.
They lost all that. As a matter of fact, let me show you.
That's not true.
Let me show you this, right? I'm gonna show you that they never.
The only thing that the Southern Kingdom was protected from was utter conquer and utter death.
Because we were the only ones in Israel when Jesus was on earth. I'm gonna show you right here in the book of Second Esdras, bro. Second Esdras 13 and 40. They can't possibly have went back to Israel according to this prophecy. Second Esdras 13:40. those are the 10 tribes which were carried away captive out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
Yeah.
Whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. He carried them over the waters, so they came into another land. So they went to Assyria, right?
That's true.
Okay.
But Assyria is like right up.
Right, but we're gonna keep reading though, right? But they took this counsel. It says, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So they got tired of being slaves to the Assyrians. So it's proven at a point they left Assyria and they went to another country where never mankind dwelt. So obviously, bro, these people, the 10 tribes, they went to a land where never mankind dwelt. And now, why this links up with the so-called Native Americans, Hispanics, the Aztecs, and who else? Taino Indians.
Because that's in Ezra's too. That people I want to say the GOCC had that in their article, talking about how how we're actually the original Native Americans, and they pull from that. But like I said,
but my point is, brother, when I bring this up, it says they went to a land where never mankind dwelt.
Right.
It's because they literally went to the so-called New World. Right. And no one dwelt here. Now, who went there? So-called Aztecs, Tainos, and Native Americans. All those tribes. And this is talking about the 10 tribes, right? Gonna go on. It says,
but the curses never spoke about us being enslaved to our brothers, which are the. If we're Judah,
well, you gotta.
It never talked about. I am proving it because it never in scripture.
Show me something, because I don't even know that. Like, I'll be honest, I'm ignorant to the fact.
Okay.
If Native Americans and Aztecs had slaves, I mean, I'm ignorant to it.
Okay.
But you would have to show that to me real quick.
Okay.
This is verses 42. That they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. So they went to this land that was keeping different types of statutes. Like, you know, the Native Americans. You ever wonder why they wore the fringes at the garments? And if you actually look into their customs, bro, it literally is proven that a lot of the customs that the natives kept are very, very similar to Hebrew customs.
Right.
Because they went to this land, America.
Right.
They kept it, but not to an extent. Nowadays, now it's all idolatry. They went straight up in idolatry now. Verses 43. It says, and they entered into the Euphrates rivers by the narrow passage.
I gotta pee.
Real quick, bro. This is
you good, man.
For the Most High,
I'm strong.
I know, but for the Most High, then showed signs for them and held stood the flood till they were passed over. Right. So they said they went through the Euphrates through the narrow passage. That's going through the Persian Gulf. They're gonna whip around South Africa.
No.
Bro, look into the map. I've looked into the map. Assyria is up there, right, next to Israel. The Euphrates River runs through the narrow passage.
That runs through Babylon, though, too, though.
No, but it runs through the narrow passage. Today it would be considered the Persian Gulf. So they went through that Persian Gulf, and then when you keep going out, it literally goes out, I believe, to like the Pacific, or no, the Atlantic. I forget what the whole sea body goes into. But they're gonna have to whip around South Africa. So they whipped around South Africa and they came into South America. Now we're gonna read on. It says they entered into the Euphrates rivers.
On my notes.
Let me finish this real quick, bro.
Yeah, yes, sir.
For they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage. For the Most High held still the floods till they were passed over. Through that country there was namely a great way to go, 1.5 years. The same region is called Asareth. So it took them 1.5 years to get from Assyria all the way to this land called Asareth. Now you got a phone clip. I'm gonna show you what Asareth is in the Jewish encyclopedia, right? So these people, like I said, they whipped around South Africa and they made their way into Asareth. Now, alright. So this is gonna be Asareth in the Jewish encyclopedia. It says the same. It says the same region, the same land beyond the great river, from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses. And this is concerning Asareth, right?
Right.
Until it says observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration. Columbus identified America with this land. So Christopher Columbus himself, he understood that America's was Asareth, and the 10 tribes made their way into Asareth. And what does it say? They came into a region, my bad, called Asareth. Then dwelt they there until the latter times, now when they shall begin to come. So they dwelt here in Asareth, which is America, until the latter times, the last days. That's why we're still here, brother. And then we got brought over to America. See? And why? How do you think Christopher Columbus and all those conquistadors found this land? This land that they didn't believe existed. Because
which they already knew. And a lot of the history is Christopher Columbus knew.
He knew by this one. He knew because, you know, they was big into Catholicism. They considered this a Catholic book. So they was reading this, bro, and they figured out that, like, we know the 10 tribes, according to prophecy of Esdras, that they would be in the land of Ashereth. And they knew it was a land where never mankind dwelt. And who was here when Christopher Columbus got here? The Native Americans, the Tainos, Aztecs, showing you the 10 tribes synonymous with them. And matter of fact, give me Genesis 49, and let me get one, right?
Yes, that's talking to, I think I remember that. That's giving a description of Eastern tribes.
In the last days.
This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. Jacob called unto his sons, said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So Jacob's going to tell his 12 sons what's going to happen to their descendants in the last days. So the last days was, he's prophesying right now, right? So the last days, brother, was considered when Christ died. From that point on was the last days, right? So 2,000 years ago. So we obviously in the last days right now. Now go to 14. I'm gonna show you about Issachar. This will be the so-called Mexicans today.
Verse 14. Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens.
So Issachar was considered a strong ass, meaning that they would be considered to a donkey. The donkey is the hardest working animal of all animals in the animal kingdom, right? So guess what, man? Who's the hardest working people out here today? Like, honestly, if you think about who's on construction sites, who builds up America, right? Who would you say describe who actually fits it?
But that's you're limiting it only to speak to symbolism again, because a donkey, you know what I'm saying?
It's a very very hardworking animal. They only use a donkey, bro, to, like, you know, great millstones.
There's holes. There's. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I'm not gonna say the interpretation is wrong. I'm just gonna say that there's enough to lean towards it, but there's not enough that fully validates. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like,
let me get Jeremiah 50 and 33. Oh, but I want to show you this real quick.
And brother,
this is Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts.
I want to ask you this for. This is talking about Babylon, right?
Yeah.
So, in ancient Babylon, who were the 10 tribes, and was the Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, were they both oppressed together in ancient Babylon?
In ancient Babylon?
Yeah. Who got sent into captivity in ancient Babylon? Which tribes?
All tribes. The whole 10,
so
the whole 12.
Only Judah, Benjamin, and Levi got carried away captive. Now, at this point,
that was in 586.
Yeah, 586.
That only meant according to war. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't get.
So we understand the 10 tribes were casted. They went to Assyria 722 BC, right?
Correct.
So the whole 10 tribes was casted away, and we only had the Jews, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in Israel. And the Babylonians, the Lord prophesied that they were going to take the tribe of Judah and put them into the slavery. So it's only prophesied that they would go in slavery. Only the tribe of Judah, you see, of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So this fact of the matter is the book of Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel. It all prophesies that the Southern Kingdom will go into slavery. Because 200 years, give or take, maybe more or less, the 10 tribes was already gone. They were already in slavery. See? So look at this, bro. This is going to be a prophecy concerning Babylon the Great. Read on. Jeremiah 15:33.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
So the children of Judah, which is who? The Southern Kingdom. Right. And the children of Israel, which is the 10 tribes. It says they were oppressed together in this Babylon the Great. This is not talking about ancient Babylon, because we were not oppressed together. It's already proven, documented. It's literally in the
Nebuchadnezzar did, but that's why I said Nebuchadnezzar fulfilled that.
No, he never oppressed the 10 tribes. They were already gone 200 years before they got there.
No, I don't mean. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because
that's not talking. This why I'm.
No. But I remember. No. I agree.
Babylon.
Hold on, wait.
Let me. About modern day Babylon.
No, I agree. But there are stories from Kings to Isaiah, and matter of fact, there's stories within Isaiah that discuss that fulfilled in the understanding that when the 10 tribes got took, they got took because of their own, you're right, the king that ruled, Jeroboam, you know what I'm saying, You know what I'm saying? But then when Nebuchadnezzar came on the scene, he completed it. You know what I'm saying? He completed the quote unquote he completed the enslaving.
So if we go to 1 Kings, right?
Yeah.
So this is 1 Kings, okay, chapter. All right.
Yeah.
I'm proof to you that this right here, bro. This is talking about modern day Babylon. This is not talking about ancient Babylon, because we never got our press together in ancient Babylon. This is gonna be a book of 1 Kings, chapter 17.
Oh.
Okay. Or
There's one in 18 and 17 too.
bear with me, because I believe it was.
Which one are you looking for? Syria?
Yeah, we got left for Syria. I
Yeah,
know where it is.
that's in.
I know where it is.
Should be 18:6.
Well,
Like I said, man, my studies, man,
might
have
be
been
second
lacking.
Kings.
Yeah, it's like.
But,
Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna show you this real quick, right? This is the book of 2 Kings 17 and 20. It says, and Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God. Yeah, it says, but Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. So Judah was trying to follow after the 10 tribes. But it says, and the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, and he cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and Jeroboam drave Israel from the Lord, from following the Lord, and made them do a great sin. So the Lord stripped away Israel from David. So that's why the Lord says he only had David rule over the southern kingdom. But the northern kingdom was given to Jeroboam, right?
Correct.
For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight. And he had said by all the servants his prophets. And so Israel was carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. So this was 200 years before the Babylonians came. The northern kingdom was carried away into Assyria unto this day, meaning they never came back. So all of them actually went to slavery to Assyria. Now, this prophecy right here says that we were oppressed together.
Yeah.
Showing you that this is ancient, this is Babylon the Great today. Now, Babylon the Great today is ruled by Esau, right? And what's happening is that Judah, the so-called blacks, and the Native Americans and Hispanics were oppressed here together in America. Because look at Hispanic and poverty, look at poverty, right? Look who's oppressed. The black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, we are oppressed together here. We all live in the slums and the ghettos. We all go through the same conditions, poverty. And the scriptures themselves prove that, man, you know? Like, it all comes together. And the 10 tribes, it literally tells you what happened to them, bro. They came to America, they got oppressed, you see, and they're gonna be here till this day. You understand?
Scripture does not one thing that I can say is Scripture does not neither cancel or negate.
Exactly.
It only validates.
Exactly.
So let's just I'll end on this note. The feast days were an ordinance that the whole tribe of Israel had to keep all during time, even to now. Now we know that we can't do it because we don't have the high priest. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't have a lamb of the first year, unblemished, blah, blah, blah. Back in those times, when they did have it, all 12 tribes had to come to Jerusalem, or the city that was called by David's name, or I'm sorry. And so it can't be that a people who share this unique culture with all this stuff deeply rooted within our bloodline then seek to cause the same type of calamity and damage that.
So, brother, you know about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom.
And I'm just talking. And now I'm just talking about
how this balance. Now I'll show you how this balance. I'll show you why.
Yeah.
There's hate between the so-called blacks, Hispanics, right?
Yeah.
Now you would say that they're not our people because they just don't look like us, they don't seem like us, they don't act like us. But
the hair of wool and feet of burnt brass.
Right. The thing is, brother, you gotta keep this in context. There was a southern kingdom and there was a northern kingdom.
This is correct.
And they always had animosity towards each other. The southern and the northern they never really like got together like that. And I'm showing you this, right?
That was I know where you're about to go. That was Deuteronomy or somewhere where it talked about being up. That was
whatever, evil eye towards one another, right?
That's
in the curses right there.
Yeah.
Right? So what's that mean? That we're gonna have an evil eye towards our own brethren. That's 54.
Yeah. I know where you were going.
But even before that curse, bro, guess what? We always had animosity towards one another, right? Judah didn't really even deal with Ephraim like that. Can I get a envy? Judah shall not envy Judah. Judah shall not envy Ephraim. Ephraim shall not envy Judah. Ezekiel.
That's so awesome.
You know what it is?
Yes, Ezekiel 37.
Okay, I'll get it. No, I'm saying you get it because I'm gonna get this one.
But nah, man, thank y'all brothers for taking y'all time out, man. Like I said, man, when I walked by, man, I seen the tassels, you know what I'm saying? I said, let me at least speak, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, let me show you this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
hit me.
2 Samuel chapter 19 and 43.
Yeah.
And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah. So Israel is the 10 tribes and Judah is the 3. And said, we have 10 parts in the king. So they're like, we have 10 parts in the king. So we have more right to him because there's 10 tribes. So we have more right to King David than you tribe of Judah. You know, that's what the whole argument was. Right? It says, why then did you despise us? Because Judah was despising the other nation, right?
Y'all have mercy on him.
It says that our advice.
Go down there and kill him.
It says, nah, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Go down
Hey, do what you gotta do, bro. Do what you gotta do. I don't care. Anyways, it says
go kill him.
that our advice should not be despised. Our advice, let me finish real quick, bro.
Yeah.
That our advice should not be first in bringing back our king. And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel, showing you that they always had animosity. They never really got together, right? That's why there's a whole two things. You got that precept for me?
I'm trying to find it.
I think that's gonna be in the book.
I agree with you, but it's just weird because we all fought with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, of course, you know what I'm saying. Like we all may not agree on whose teams are better. You know what I'm saying? But that still doesn't take away that I see that you look like me, I look like you. You know what I'm saying, and vice versa. You know?
Isaiah 11:13.
I got that. But through oppression, obviously they're gonna look a little different because they've been in slavery a lot longer than we have. Give me Hosea 7 where it says Ephraim has mixed himself among the people. Zechariah 12 and 9, and then Hosea 7 and 8, right? Can you get a Hosea chapter 7 real quick, brother? And then you get Zechariah 12 and 9. But I'm gonna read this. Isaiah 11 and I want to get 13. The envy of Ephraim shall not depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. Meaning that there's always been animosity.
Ephraim was the equivalent to Judah, because Ephraim was the biggest, the second biggest tribe.
Yeah, Ephraim is the equivalent to the northern kingdom,
right?
And Judah is the equivalent to the southern kingdom. Right. Now let me show you this.
Because man, when you go back and read the allotments, you know what I'm saying, when they was all split up, man, Judah was the warriors, and then Ephraim, they had the second. I want to say, if I remember correctly, they were the second largest tribe amongst the.
And you know, in the scriptures it tells you we went to war with the northern kingdom and southern kingdom. Literally went to war. That's how much we really didn't like each other, right? And let me show you this too, right? Hosea 7 and 8.
This is Hosea chapter 7 verse 8. Ephraim have mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
So Ephraim, the tribe of Ephraim, the 10 tribes, mix themselves among every other the nations, right? It says that they are likened to a cake that's not turned. Meaning, you ever make pancakes?
Ephraim itself was born of mixed.
Right. And also too, Ephraim's like a cake not turned. So when you cooking pancakes, right? If you let one side stay on the skittle and one side you don't flip, what's gonna happen? One side's gonna be dark and one side's gonna be very, very light.
Yeah.
That's why the Puerto Ricans today, man, look at them. You got very dark skinned Puerto Ricans, darker than us. But then you also got Puerto Ricans that's super pale that look like a so-called white man.
Yeah.
And that's for all tribes. Even with Judah, we have that. That's true. So we can't go off of color, bro. Obviously we look the same, but you gotta figure out that they've been mixed, bro. These northern kingdom people have been mixed a lot. Now let me get that real quick. Zechariah 12 and 9.
This is Jeremiah 12 and 9. My heritage is under me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye assemble all ye beasts, all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
So the Lord said his heritage unto him is like a speckled bird. A speckled bird means it's got all type of spots and colors on it, man. Because our people, Israel, we come in all different shades, forms, and sizes, So obviously, today it's gonna be confusing because they want to push, they want to continually segregate us and make it to the point to where we don't realize who we are, right? They want us to stay divided, but that's not good. We got to come together because, hey, man, the Lord said we're like the sand of the sea. If we came to Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans come together, no one can overtake us, man. We the strongest people on earth together, man. You see? But the thing is, we've been oppressed, we've been separated, we've been lied to, but we're coming out of those lies, bro. And we're understanding, we're understanding who is the main culprit here. Who would you say is the main culprit is in all our, pretty much who's the main culprit in all of our downfall and all of our confusion?
We know the European.
Exactly, man. And he is so-called Esau. That's why do you think the Most High says, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated? Because these people are like acting like devils right now, man. Right? So the Lord's gonna destroy them, right? Well, I mean, I know you gotta go take a piss and stuff, bro.
No, you good, man. I enjoyed the conversation, man. I just have to go in general, but it's just my fucking bladder's about to blow.
But that makes sense though, right?
Yeah.
Like, everything I said, like, just gotta look into it, bro.